AITA for leaving my partner at a restaurant after they humiliated me in front of our friends. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who would stand up, walk out of a restaurant, and leave my partner sitting at the table. I've always been the keep the peace type. The one who swallows discomfort, laughs things off, and deals with emotions later in private. But last Friday night, something inside me finally snapped. For context, my partner and I have been together for almost 3 years. We're both in our late 20s. From the outside, we probably look like a solid couple, stable jobs, shared friends, weekend routines, and plans that vaguely involve the future. But behind closed doors, there's been a recurring issue. They love to joke at my expense. At first, I brushed it off as teasing. That's just their humor, I told myself. They don't mean it. But over time, the jokes started to feel less playful and more pointed. Little comments about my career, my appearance, my habits always framed as humor. Always delivered with a smile and always in front of other people. I've brought it up before, multiple times. I told them it made me uncomfortable. I told them it hurt. They apologized every time, and then did it again. Still, I didn't expect this asterisk. That night, we were meeting up with a group of friends at a popular restaurant downtown. It wasn't a special occasion, just dinner, drinks, and catching up. I spent extra time getting ready, partly because I wanted to feel good about myself, and partly because I knew these gatherings often turned into subtle performances. Things started out fine. Drinks were ordered. Everyone was laughing. The conversation bounced between work stories, travel plans, and random gossip. I remember thinking, asterisk, maybe tonight will be different. Asterisk, then the jokes started. It was small at first. Someone asked how work was going for me, and before I could answer, my partner jumped in with, "Oh, still stuck at the same job, dreaming big, but doing nothing about it." People laughed. I forced a smile. My face felt hot, but I told myself not to overreact. Later, when food arrived, I mentioned I'd been trying to eat healthier. My partner smirked and said, "Yeah, that lasted all of 2 days." They have zero self-control. More laughter. Someone added, "Wow," called out. I tried to redirect the conversation. I really did. But it kept happening. Every time I spoke, my partner had a comment. Every comment painted me as lazy, naive, or slightly pathetic. It felt like I was being reduced to a punchline. The final moment came when one of our friends asked about future plans moving in together, maybe marriage someday. Before I could even process the question, my partner laughed and said, "Honestly, I don't even know if they could handle that. They can barely manage their own life." That one landed differently. The table went quiet for a second. Not awkward silence, more like that uncomfortable pause when people don't know whether to laugh or feel bad. Someone chuckled nervously. Someone else avoided eye contact. I felt something twist in my chest. My hands were shaking under the table. I wasn't embarrassed anymore. I was humiliated. I looked at my partner and said, calmly but clearly, "Can you stop?" That wasn't funny. They rolled their eyes and replied, "Relax. It's just a joke. You're being sensitive." That was it. I stood up. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't make a scene. I just placed my napkin on the table, picked up my bag, and said, "I'm leaving." My partner stared at me, shocked. "Are you serious right now?" "Yes," I said. "I've asked you to stop." "You didn't." "I'm done for tonight." I walked out of the restaurant while they were still trying to process what had just happened. My heart was pounding. My legs felt weak. The cool night air hit my face, and suddenly I was breathing again. I went home alone. About 10 minutes later, my phone started blowing up. Missed calls, texts, all from my partner. "Are you kidding me? You embarrassed me. You couldn't just take a joke. Everyone thinks you're dramatic." I didn't respond. The next morning, they came over, still angry, not concerned, not apologetic, angry. They told me I had overreacted, that leaving them there made them look like the bad guy, that our friends were confused and uncomfortable, that I should be handled it privately. I asked them a simple question. When was I supposed to handle it privately? After I asked you to stop multiple times and you ignored me? They didn't answer that. Instead, they said something that still echoes in my head. "You should know by now, that's just how I am." That's when it hit me. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't accidental. This was a pattern, and by staying silent, laughing along and enduring it. I had been teaching them that it was acceptable. Some of our friends reached out later. A few told me they thought the jokes went too far and that they were uncomfortable, but didn't want to get involved. Others said I should have stayed and talked it out instead of storming off. My partner insists I owe them an apology. They say relationships require patience and compromise, and that I chose embarrassment over communication. But from where I'm standing, I did communicate over and over again. I didn't leave to punish them. I left because staying would have meant accepting the disrespect. So, AITA for leaving my partner at the restaurant after they humiliated me in front of our friends.